Hello, my name is Putri Nur Sabrina. In this video, along with my friends Aiman Shahmi, Aiman Farhan, Nurul Najwa, and Umaira Husna are going to present about the relationship of the construction industry and the economy of Germany. Our presentation consists of the introduction of the economic system and the construction industry of Germany, the relationship of resource allocation, interaction between household and firms, market mechanism and market structure of Germany with the construction industry of Germany. And lastly, we're going to conclude our discussion in a brief. First of all, let me introduce you briefly about the economy of Germany. Germany has a mixed economy system, where the free market economy is applied in consumer goods and business services, along with some regulations foisted by the government in order to secure its citizens. Meanwhile, the command economy is applied in defense since it is beneficial to all of the citizens. Secondly, the government provides healthcare, insurance, and education. People with higher incomes have to pay more in taxes. Thus, in this system, the citizens will pay into the system according to their income and will get the benefit according to their need. Third, Germany receives several benefits as a European Union member and through the adoption of the euro. The power of the euro means interest rates stay low, which has induced the investment. Fourth, the strong manufacturing base of Germany means it has plenty to export to other EU members and does so more cheaply. That gives German companies a competitive advantage that only improves over time. That creates prosperity, where it gives German consumers more money to spend locally. As a result, the domestic market recently became a more significant driver of economic growth. Lastly, low unemployment rate, thanks to the current Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel, who has successfully pushed through stimulus efforts and tax cuts through the recession. Next, I will introduce to you two approaches that are commonly used in the construction industry of Germany. Germany's biggest goal is driving towards achieving sustainability, which includes the construction industry. Therefore, the energy-strong serial building renovation principle is taken as a guide in shaping the construction industry of Germany along with the guidance of the Germany Energy Agency. 2.5 billion euros are allocated by the German government to support the energy-efficient renovation and construction. PPP, which stands for Public-Private Partnership, are using models that take into account the entire life cycle of a public investment. In PPP, a long-term contract between the government and the private construction firms is required to give the authority to the construction firms to take on the planning, financing, construction, and maintenance, also in some cases utilities of public buildings and infrastructure facilities. In short, PPP is one of the alternatives of procurement. In the recent years, the federal government of Germany has established PPP as the standard of procurement. Let's take a look onto the relationship between the construction industry and the economy of Germany. Solid construction with strong export activities had contributed to the growth of Germany's economy by 0.3% in the final quarter of 2020, which is better than expected. This shows how important the construction industry is to the economy of Germany. Second, stable economy and investment climate, and a continuous focus on the energy efficiency that is supported by the market and by the federal government has assisted the growth of the construction industry in Germany. This shows how important the economy towards the construction industry in Germany.
Hi, I'm Najwa. We will look into the resource allocation. Resources are the factors of production that are available to an economy for the production of goods and services. Commonly, there are four factors of resources, which are labor, capital, land, and also the entrepreneurship. In order to optimize the efficient use of limited resources and get the highest return on investment, resource allocation entails balancing conflicting requirements and properties and identifying the most effective course of action. Thus, we will look into the resource allocation that is related to the construction industry in Germany. For the factors of labor, Germany started to impose the minimum wage that also include for the construction industry in January 2015. The target is to stabilize the minimum, the inequality of wages among the workers. However, there are a concern among the economists regarding this matter, as the employees might lose their job and the employer could not pay for the minimum of job. Contradictly, it is not happen and German could succeed to solve the inequality problems. Looking to the graph here, that could show the minimum wage by the government has raised the wage, especially for the low wage workers such as the labor in the construction industry. The workers that have minimum wage are still employed after 2015 and 2016 compared to those in 2013, which was before the implementation of minimum wage in Germany. For the factors of land or natural resources, there are three major groups of non-renewable raw material, which are fossil fuels, metallic and non-metallic minerals, which are used in the energy source, basic materials and construction materials. Germany control the resources by looking at the factors of geological, size of various states, accessibility and settlement density to determine how many raw resources may be exploited in each of the federal states. This is to ensure the resources are being extracted within the control of the government. Therefore, the limited resources could be used in times for the industry. For the manufacturer, as we know that Germany is one of the top countries that produce steel, and the usage of steel is enormous, from the automobile industry to the construction industry and many more. Shortage of the manufacture of steel happens in the pandemic, and this make a hard time for the German construction industry and other countries. However, after the quarter of 2021, after the crisis, the industry of the steel in Germany succeed to stabilize as the industry started to recover from the pandemic by reopen the manufacturer steel industry. And lastly, for the entrepreneurship, financial resources are the capital where human-made resources are used in the production process to produce other goods and services. In Germany, they have set social housing subsidies for Euro 8 billion in the year of 2008 to 2024, where this is to ensure the citizens could afford their own house. Aside, Euro 98.3 billion has been set aside for infrastructure upgrades and new construction of infrastructure. And this we can see that the German government allocate billion of euro for their development and reconstruction of country.
So I'm going to be presenting about the interaction between household and firms. So household provide the most important function since they are both workers and consumers. As a result, they supply work to businesses and are reimbursed with pay from such businesses. Aside from that, as consumers, they buy goods and services from businesses, which is referred to as consumer expenditure. And then firms manufacture items and provide services. Labor and capital are the inputs to the manufacturing process. Labor comes from wage-paying families, while capital investment can be supported by retained earnings or borrowing from the banking sector. According to the Federal Statistical Office, German households reduced their monthly consumption expenditure by 3% in 2020 as the COVID-19 epidemic markedly harmed private spending. The average monthly household expenditure in Germany has fallen to slightly over 2,500 euros, which is exactly $2,810 USD. So from this, we can see that the demand is decreasing due to the pandemic situation. Spending on food and lodging services fell the greatest, by 35% compared to the previous year. The second largest decrease was in education, where Germans paid 29% less. Education sector also has been making impacted, where Germans paid 29% less, making it the second largest decrease after the household expenditure. In terms of construction industry, Germany is thriving. Building sector benefits from a stable economy and investment climate, as well as market and federal government supported progressive focus on energy efficiency. Germany has the continent's greatest building stock and is Europe's major construction market. Revenues in the industry climbed by 5.9% to 143 billion in the year of 2020. This shown that the markets in the German is thriving greatly from the previous year. From the table shown above, it can be seen that Germany's construction market has climbed dramatically since 2015, from 1.6% in 2015 to 11.2% in 2018. Since 2015, the country's yearly investment has been growing at a solid rate. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it fell to 6.7% in 2019 and 5.9% in 2020. The increase in demand for more accommodation and also spaces is one of the derived factors to the increase in the percentage of the country industry. Uh, However, the chronic material shortages and unpredictable input pricing continue to be a problem. Builders find it difficult to pass on price increase to clients unless contracts include escalation provision.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Hi and good morning. My name is Muhammad Aiman Syahmi bin Taharudin. My metric number is 2014393. So today I'm gonna present to all of you about market mechanism. So first of all, in economics, a market mechanism or price mechanism is a system of market operation in which supply and demand force determine the price and quantity of products traded. When a market disequilibrium occurs, this mechanism enables the market to shift a new equilibrium point. Market mechanisms are also correlated to the trend for price change to reach market equilibrium. When the amount of goods or product offered is equal to the amount of demand, this is referred to as market equilibrium. That is from Shafi'i A, 2020. So next, market mechanism factors. So I give three market mechanism factor, which is first one, the growth of companies offering similar products and services. That is increase in supply. The second one, increase in the rate of construction project, which is increase in demand. And the third one, the effect of COVID-19 on market mechanism. That is for decrease of demand. For the first factor, which is the growth of companies offering similar products and services, which is increase in supply, in the construction business, Germany has a market system known as monopolistic competition, in which several enterprises compete for the same commodities or services. According to the data and statistics, Germany has 232,208 organizations or persons possessing building and construction license. The number of people is up from 222,678 the previous year. As a result of this dramatic increase, several new construction companies have sprung up around the country. That is from German Federal Statistical Office, 2020. The market mechanism plays a vital role depending on the market structure employed the data examine. Because when there is a lot of competition, finding the equilibrium point becomes more difficult. Price change will always occur as a result competition. If some companies lower the price or offer better price, the companies will follow suit. This is due to the fact that consumers are likely to choose cheaper goods, but quality is closely related. Furthermore, because demand and supply are essential factors in the economy, this market mechanism will vary in response to them. For the second factor, increase in the rate of construction project in Germany, which is increase in demand. In 2020, a total of 28,707 units of residential and non-residential structures were constructed, representing reporting a 5.24% increase over 2019. This pace of increase in demand will affect the price set by competing companies, which is controlled by the market mechanism. Many construction categories are expected to increase in 2020 compared to the previous year. This demonstrates that Germany is committed to generating revenue from this construction sector. The price of a good or service will fluctuate over time due to change in demand. The growth of the market will make many companies adjust the market price of their goods or services based on the amount of supply available at any particular time. To achieve the point of equilibrium, the buyer and seller must come to an agreement on a mutually acceptable price. As is generally known, supply is limited on behalf of a supplier and resources are likewise constrained on behalf of customer in the building industry. So, for the last factor, which is the effect of COVID-19 on market mechanism in Germany, which is the decrease in demand. So, according to industry organization, Germany's construction industry anticipates sales to remain flat this year, with demand of machinery falling, implying that the coronavirus epidemic is putting an end to a construction boom in Europe's largest economy. The HDB Construction Association predicted that nominal sales will remain flat in 2020, compared to a December prediction of 5.5% growth. Building machinery makers estimate sales to drop 10 to 30% this year, according to the VDMA Engineering Group, as construction firms cut back on their business goal. This is in contrast to a drop of more than 50% during the global financial crisis a decade ago. That is from Michael Nienaber. This is due to many construction companies lowering their financial plans. This will have a detrimental impact on other companies associated with the situation. Market mechanisms are currently being modified to adapt to the current lack of demand and restriction on COVID-19. To reduce the loss of rate, many companies reduce the use of existing resource to avoid loss.
I'm Amara Usnanes. I'll be presenting on market structure in Germany. Generally, market structure is how different industries are classed and distinguished based on the degree and form of goods and services competition. In Germany, the construction industry is monopolistic competition. The figure shown in the slide shows an increase in the number of construction organizations in Germany from the year of 2010 to 2016. There has been 21.2% increase of the numbers of construction organizations, and in 2016, there are 650,813 construction organizations in Germany. Moving on to monopolistic competition of Germany's construction industry, the figure in the slide shows that Germany commercial construction market located way below the level of market concentration, which indicate that Germany is highly competitive market without dominant players. Here are some of the construction organizations in Germany with their total sales revenue. It can be seen that Hoptief is leading with the highest sales revenue, followed by BP Europa SE, BayWa, and others. Here is the second list. This is the last list of the construction firms with their total sales revenue. Next is residential and non-residential construction price and its relation to demand in Germany. The figure on the left shows that prices of residential in Germany keep on increasing from the year of 2010 to 2020. However, the demand for residentials is still high. Because of interest rates on housing loans remain at historically low levels, which help people to have high demand despite the increasing price. For non-residential, the table here in the slide shows that the volume of construction services grew by 2.8%, but it is the slowest rate of growth since 2016. The price for non-residential projects also increased. However, in contrast with residential projects, the demand for commercial building is low. This is due to lockdown measures in spring 2020 and winter 2020 and 2021, as well as the ensuing drop in consumption. In fact, it is also said that due to pandemic, people are working from home, which is why demand for buildings such as office decreased as well. Lastly is investment in construction sector for residential market. The pie chart indicates the percentage in Euro 5.0 billion investments in the construction sector in the year of 2019 in Germany. 20% of the investment is for residential and non-residential construction, 18% is for electrical, plumbing and other construction installation activities, another 18% is for other economic branches, 18% for roads and railways construction, followed by 15% for other specialized construction activities, and the least is 11% for utility projects. Following this, the investment in the German residential market is expected to be high in 2021 despite the pandemic. This is because German property market was one of the few to avoid a decline during the global financial crisis during the year of 2008 until 2009. Therefore, it is expected to avoid the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, again due to reduced interest rate environment, underlying supply shortage, and current undervaluation that has been done to maintain the investment of construction sector in Germany.
Before jumping into the conclusion, let's recap on the topics that have been explained by my friend. Starting with the resource allocation, it can be concluded that the minimum wages were imposed by the German government in order to stabilize the inequality of wages among laborers. Limited natural resources for construction use and public projects were funded by the government to allocate the financial resources. Secondly, the interaction between household and firms, the ongoing demand for residential renovation work, and construction activities are the main driver of growth. Third, in terms of the Germany market mechanism, it can be seen that in the current COVID-19 pandemic, many construction companies are limiting the use of existing resources to avoid losses. Fourth, Germany market structure. So the market structure shows a high monopolistic competition between numerous construction firms in Germany. Overall, it is clear that the construction industry is significantly related to the economy of Germany in various forms such as discussed. Supply, demand and price are some of the crucial factors affecting the economy and the construction industry of Germany. In conclusion, the construction industry and economy is inseparable. The construction industry, which is one of the sectors in economic activities in Germany, could affect the economy of Germany and vice versa. There is a need to enhance the profile of building services in Germany on domestic and international markets. Training and constant upskilling of employees is the key to quality. Lastly, building policy and economic policy are correlated to each other. The targets of the building policy in Germany is to secure high levels of investment in order to fast-track targeted investments and to provide effective support to quality development, competent service, provision, and innovation in products and services. That's all from us. Thank you.